Hey folks, welcome back to another video. My name is Polarity and today it's about limitation. Limitation is one of the most effective ways to make yourself and your mind creative. No matter how long you play music or how good you think you are, it works equally well for everyone. It can be confirmed by any creative person. The less options the brain is offered, the more it can occupy itself with the available options. There are many things that can be limited in the producer's everyday life. Often people talk about the reduction of external hardware devices, like synthesizers or audio effects, which bring different problems with them. Anyone who has ever owned or has hardware will be able to confirm it. Where do I put the devices best? How do I get to the buttons best? Do I want to get to the device from the computer at all? Or do I want to move away from the computer? How do I wire everything? How do I wire everything so that it makes technical sense for recording? Do I create latencies? Do I need additional inputs to record devices in parallel? Do I need preamps? Which Eurorack module do I need so that the Eurorack module I bought the other day for a lot of money makes more sense? Which device do I sell so that there's more space for new ones? There are many things that need to be decided, so the fact that you own hardware can occupy your brain in many ways at any time. Not to mention turning it on when you're in the mood to make music. Why isn't this synth working, or why isn't there a clock signal coming in? My controller isn't sending MIDI anymore. All of this can kill creative energy in the start. The best thing is to have as little as possible standing between you and the first draft, and to feel comfortable in the environment you're working in. And there's a special sweet spot for everyone that everyone has to find on their own. Limitation to the essential things can help to minimize overload in the head and to relax the brain in a certain way to use it at important tasks. It minimizes the pressure to make decisions and frees up energy for creative solutions with a limited set of options. And relaxation and creative output is what most people are looking for after a day of tedious and boring work. Another effect of limiting is that you get to know the things you limit yourself to better. By having to deal more with what is available, by having to find solutions, the brain is creatively stimulated. How can I build a bomb out of a paperclip and an apple? You bring out your internal MacGyver and let the brain do what it's made for. You divert the energy from deciding to creating. There's a reason why experienced musicians, or any musician at all, like to buy small devices and music toys. Imagine going into the woods with your little beatbox or sitting on the bus and finally getting really creative with it. But then you usually don't. But the idea is absolutely right and also tempting. Basically, you don't need a device or any particular software. You just need something that makes noise and the will. When I was younger, I didn't have any Lego because we grew up in East Germany. When I got a mini Lego space vehicle as a gift from my aunt, I built everything imaginable from these 30 Lego parts in 2 weeks. I only had these 30 parts and got creative with them. There were no limits to my imagination, and each of these 30 parts could be combined with the other 29 parts in different ways. Enough possibilities for everything. The more parts I got later, the less creative I became with individual groupings of parts. Completely normal process. And who doesn't know it? Musicians who have a fleet of devices often don't know exactly what they could do with individual devices. If they had spent 1 year only with this device, things would look different. The sentence, "I didn't know it was possible with this device," is often heard. That's not an accusation, it's just perfectly normal. So if you want to know what a certain device can do, look around at people who only call the device their own. Do you want to know which devices are good? Look at producers who make good music and only have a few devices to call their own. Usually these devices are the best and most versatile. Often you see producers in their huge studios sitting in front of many synthesizers. but the music comes out of the computer itself, or was even written on it. I often notice this in deadmau5 live streams, and there's probably a reason why. And this is simply an observation that does not always apply. Since I announced the beat battle the other day, I got the following message. I decided to give this a go and came up with a few interesting techniques that I'd never have tried if I wasn't looking to save space. Using a constant, a selector and a bunch of mod outs to control the note quantizer opens up some real possibilities. And this one underlines exactly my point. Due to the limitation in the rules, someone here got creative with what he had. There was no other way to break out than to solve the puzzle somehow. Brain can reach peak performance here within certain limits. The deadline is Friday and you're all invited to participate. So join. The link is in the description. It's also not by chance that new bands or just starting producers, due to the lack of money and therefore equipment, take off more easily, are at the pulse of time or define the trend than long-standing experienced and fully equipped producers. They have the experience, but are often less creative. But maybe that's just a subjective perception of my part. No matter which creative experienced person you ask, you will always hear a story about how they became extremely creative by selling equipment, tools, or reducing options. It is one of the most effective tools ever. And even if you use Bitwig, limit yourself to 4 or 5 devices or modules and try to do something with them. After 1 or 2 days, you have mastered them. Sometimes I wish you could unlock levels in a DAW that give you limited access to devices, a kind of a gaming mode. As a beginner, you only get a sampler maybe and an EQ, and with that you can actually do almost everything. After that you unlock a compressor or maybe distortion, and that could be pretty exciting, and it could maximize learning. So try it out yourself. Set up rules, limit yourself or sell your fleet that you don't use anyway. Save money, get to know what you already have and get creative. That's it for today. Subscribe to the channel, leave a thumbs up if you liked the video, and if you want, support me on Patreon. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye.